All right, welcome to Trading with Meatball. Let's just get into it, guys. We are not here to brag, but let's talk about how we did it today. Okay, we talk about mistakes almost every video, right? We'll try to find some mistakes today, but we took their lunch money and we traded the open, which we don't like to do. I don't, but you can't be a pussy. And yeah, we cuss. It's your fault for tuning in. You can't be a one trick pony. I mean, there's a lot of times we were studying the SPY the last couple of videos, and there was a trend which we got today about 1:40 in the afternoon, and we did a couple of videos over the weekend about the afternoon trend in the SPY about 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 2 o'clock again. So we got that today in the Discord, but this is the banger at the open. And again, I don't like to trade the open, but they had the news. There's a deal with a new chip plant in Israel, and here we are at 9:30, and I sold, and zero fucks were given. And then we bought right back in again. Why do we do it? We went right back in again. Well, I am an old man. I used to be a stockbroker, and I have to scalp to pay my bills because I'm an old man. So I start every week with pennies and have to grow it into something by the end of the week. And so I'll look for runners and I'll take my scalp, but I want my 20, 30, 40%. I'm out. And I never hold the open. I want to sell into the candle and then put a stop loss in. And I got stopped out. Okay, fine. But I'm watching, and here we are. These are 5 minute candles. It didn't take long. It was like 10 minutes later. She starts wicking off of the Ripster clouds. And I praise Ripster, and I use his clouds, and there it is wicking off, and you can see the volume was there at the open. And so going to the volume is important, and he teaches that, and others do too. And you can see the big spike right here on this candle. Okay, and that was a later entry for some of the guys in the Discord. um, I got stopped out up at here, I don't mind telling you. And I'm good for the day. That was it. Kind of heavy on that second one. AMD I hit. And what did we do wrong on that trade? I don't know. We broke it up. We took profits. We went right back in off the cloud. Sometimes you got to grab your balls and do it, guys. I mean, I don't like blowing up accounts at the open. When we teach on the channel that you draw lines on charts and you pick your own setups. But the later trades are working for me. The trades after lunch, and we'll talk about how we did that on the SPY today. But I've been buying January calls instead of zero DTEs, and I've been doing really well. Selling every 2 or 3 days for a 50 or a double, 50% or a double. The lithium went up this morning, and I was holding that and the Neo over the weekend, and we're going to look at both of those. But here's the AMD, same thing at the open on the 5 minute, and on the 1 minute is what I'm looking at when it first opens up. So, this is what we're looking at the open on the 1 minute, and it was a no brainer. The first candle, she starts forming over the, oh, I'm sorry, we're too far. Sorry, guys, it's late. When it takes off like that on the 1 minute, and it's just gonna do it again, and you could see in the morning how it did it, and then the afternoon. And so where does it go? I don't know. We just follow the trend. But here's the earliest. This is the 1 day, and it's you're looking at this at the open. Let's get it in there. Oh, thanks. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Okay, so this is, you don't see all this. You see this at the open. This is, let's do something constructive. Okay? And that's where I went in. Okay? And that's what I was looking at on the 1 minute. So let's learn from this. I was in the Intel, okay, and this is more expensive. These options are more expensive. And so for an old man with a small account, to go in on this one, the decision is not to go too far out of the money. And that is a temptation that we take a lot. And we wonder why the stock went up or down, just like I said it was, but I still blew up my account. Well, if you go too far out of the money, then you're expecting such a far move for this thing to give you a profit. It doesn't always happen. And so you want to go not too far out of the money sometimes, right? Especially if we're only going to hold it for a minute. And we did. And we went in right above, I think we got the 141 calls, and we sold into the next candle. And then we got a retracement. We were able to do it again on a smaller scale. a little bit further out of the money, but that was the big one, and we got it right as she was forming this candle. So from 140 to 141 and 20 30 cents. Yeah, 142 something when I was selling. Maybe, oh, that was the later one, I'm sorry. So anyhow, let's talk about the ones we held. This is what's been working for me. The January calls on the lithium and the hood and the snap. Okay, and here's the 1 day chart. Boom. And she just went nowhere but up. And I was selling into this, and it went even higher after I sold it. But let's look at her on the 15 minute, and we had our entry plotted, and she went really close to the zone. Okay, and so that's a reload for anybody, and it worked. Boom, right off our trend line, and there she goes. The hood has been good to me, and I will buy the hood again. I like it here, and so there's our entry point, and she's right in there in our zone, coming away from our entry point, going back up, I think. So I like that one. But here's the other one I sold this morning. I was holding the lithium and the neo over the weekend, and the neo's been on a tear. Something goes from $6 to $9, and people say, "Oh my gosh, it's gone up too far." Zoom out, guys. Always zoom out. Okay, she can go anywhere she wants to, but that's how we did it this morning. The Neo we had identified on the 6 month and the 3 month, and there was a guru on Twitter that had posted it. But there's a lot of these stocks that have bottomed out, and they look like they may be curling up. I would encourage you to look at the earnings real quick before you go jumping on these, because there's a whole bunch of them curling back up. But I like this one a lot. It has a great chart on any time frame. Check it out. And so the lithium has very tight, very strong institutional holdings. So check out lithium and the Neo. So here's the SPY, and here's the 1 day on the SPY. And we got chop, chop, chop from the dollar and the VIX. But the dollar was going down all day, and we predicted accurately in our Discord that it would bleed up or drift up. I'm sorry, stair step up, and that stay away from the zero DTEs. And we did, everybody. And so right here about 1 o'clock on a 5 minute chart, it was 140, 138 or something like that. I put in the Discord, yep, 140, that it was going to keep doing this. And the dollar was dropping, and the dollar was catching a nice drop, and the VIX was down. And I said, yeah, do them, but go for tomorrow's calls, not the zero DTEs. And sure enough, they kept climbing. And guys, it doesn't cost that much more to do the calls for tomorrow on the SPY or the QQ. A $50 bet might be a $65 bet or a $70 bet. It's or $30 bet becomes a $50 bet to buy one call. But go out for tomorrow. It makes a hell of a difference, and you can ride the trend and don't panic sell. And I hope that helps somebody. And I hope you guys have a great week. God bless you, and come join us. It's free. We ain't selling nothing in the Discord. I don't think the paid Discord's even on. So just come hang out with us if you want to. Share your ideas. You don't have to trade what we're trading, but we are stronger together, and waiting sucks. Waiting's the hardest part. And we didn't get this trend until 2 o'clock. So we got guys that have jobs, and I watch the dollar and the VIX all day, and they come in. Maybe they trade the open and then they check in during the day, but they have their own ideas. They run their own trades, okay? But we spotted this trend last week. We talked about it, and we said we were going to do it, and it worked today. But I think the key is, again, buy the calls for tomorrow. This is a slow week in my experience, that it could just chop or bleed. And I look for individual runners, like we identified the AMD and the Intel. Rivian took a spike up this morning, and it went right through our little entry zone that we have plotted. And so we're kind of pissed about that, because we like to load on these zones. And I had it marked, and it didn't come anywhere near the entry zone I had marked. And so we'll see what she does. But those are our hot picks, and those are the winners from today. And that's how we did it. I think the Rivian is going to stabilize here. She doesn't look weak, guys. Next gap up is 25 and change. Good luck. Have a great week. Yes, I share the whole screen.